So I made this meme on the 4th to help people understand how I feel about certain things. When you're drugged and they're provoking you, of course you're not always going to be on your best behavior. That is to be expected. So what I see commonly is that either I'm drugged and I'm kind of sedated and out of it and completely not functioning. It's kind of like being on psych meds. Or I'm provoked to anger and I'm shunned by women and I'm functioning very well, but I'm not entirely using my energy in the most efficient way. I'm not as focused as I would be because there's some drugs in my system and I'm angry. Ideally, and in the best mental states I've ever been in, I am sober, well exercised, and in a relationship that makes it so I care about myself. This is the importance of the family structure. You have kids that look up to you, that make you a better man. You have a wife that hopefully makes you a better man as well. You're taking care of yourself. You're paying attention, close attention to detail. You're attentive. And everything is kind of flowing. You reach your natural flow. So the answer to society's mental health problem goes back to philosophy. If you listen to my message very carefully, you see that I'm not mad at all Jews. I'm not mad at all white people. I'm not mad at all black people or any other race. I'm mad at people for their philosophies, and there's degrees of that. I have a certain potential to treat people decently, even if I recognize that they're from the opposition view. If they're not really going out of their way to make the world a bad place, if they're not politically active in a negative way, it doesn't really bother me so much if they're gay or if they're a feminist. There's gays and feminists and Jews and whites and people even in secret societies who see things almost the same way that I do. So all these things must be considered. When the people you disagree with take a very active stance and they target you, it makes you behave in a certain way. And when you're drugged, that the reservations you have turn into inclinations and tendencies to act out and to vituperate, to feel very vindictive, to feel vexation and anger. A lot of people don't understand, very simple things about me, such as emotion. I've always been a more sensitive person than other people. And sensitivity and tolerance don't always go hand in hand, needless to say. There are two ways to approach a situation such as the one we face in the world today. Two major ways that I would argue are both acceptable, and one is more admirable than the other. One is to say, well, the world is a bad place and there's nothing you can do about it, so you should just live your life. The other is to be very upset about things and to take action. It has always been very apparent to me, since I was a little kid, that if I speak on things that are disturbing me, that people treat me bad. If I speak on it very emotionally or in an authoritative tone, in a tone that demands respect and attention, that I make a lot of enemies. It's a recurring thing. So when you look at states of mind First of all, first and foremost, you must consider that everyone has a right to think what they want, to believe what they want. Only in extreme cases where someone cannot possibly contain themselves and they go out hurting other people, or they consistently cut themselves or something, should you act on it and say, you know what, the way you're thinking, we have to put an end to that right now. Because, we leave you alone for 5 minutes, you're out, hitting your head against the wall, you're assaulting somebody or something. And on some level, the mental health sector understands this. That's why the laws are worded in a way that leads one to believe that that's what they're for. A threat to oneself or others. But then they expand on this meaning to gain more power. And they end up getting more power. Whether it is sought or unsought, that is how it plays out. Whether it was their intention to begin with or not, I personally know that it is, but I'm not going to argue that. That's how it plays out. These are the facts. So we're in a society where people play stupid about things, and it screws them over, as well as the most honorable and righteous among us. It is insane to go along with it. It is a disgrace. And there's different levels of blame. There's the blame that you assign to the social planners and the secret societies and all these people who, are the social engineers in life. Then there's another blame to the government. So if someone's in a secret society, especially on the highest level, they're the most guilty. If they're in the secret society on a high level and in the government, they're extremely, extremely guilty. Pretty much as guilty as the most guilty, because there's levels of blame. They're doing the wrong thing being in a secret society, and they're abusing their post or their position in the government by going along with it. And then there's the people who enforce for the government. The military, the intelligence, the cops, and so on. And some criminal organizations that collaborate with them. Okay? And then there's the people who allow for this and don't rise up. And of the people, there's able-bodied men who are able to debate or fight or resist in some form. Then there's women. So you have to assign the blame accordingly. Or else nothing is really going to get accomplished, right? I'm not saying just sit around and blame and do nothing else, but you also have to understand that if you're going to solve the problem, you have to know where the problem lies, where the blame lies. What I've seen is a huge effort to make the people in charge look good and to maintain the order. The number one reason that I'm being gang-stalked has to do with the order of society. It goes back to law and order out of chaos, the order of, the troops, they stand in a certain order, the order in Masonic lodges, order in the court, and so on and so forth. And then look at the commonalities, look at where this idea exists, all the places it exists, and that's what they're concerned with first and foremost. It's kind of like in the court, right? The judge is concerned with the case, but as soon as the order is challenged, the judge stops what he's doing and bangs his gavel and says, order in the court. If a police officer is giving someone a ticket, and in another place he looks across the street, he sees that the mayor is getting heckled or something, he's going to stop that, giving that ticket. He's going to go across the street and he's going to deal with the problem related to the order of society. So, absolutely, these people don't care about my mental health. I promise to God, they don't give the slightest fuck. All this has to do with the order of society. And they try to make it so that people have vested interest with the governing class to maintain the order. They say, well, this person is annoying, or this person is going to bring trouble to your neighborhood. He's going to bring police to your neighborhood. He's going to make it so that they're drugging your food, while at the same time they're drugging the drinks in the grocery stores. They're turning around and saying, hey, you know, it's this guy's fault, not our fault. So they're blaming the victim, with a lot of groups such as liberals who talk about blaming the victim, right? Ironically. They're saying, well, this guy who has simply told the truth and has expressed his opinion has challenged the order of society. And now you all are going to help us restore it or maintain it. And any political group, whether they're controlled or whether they're doing something in a way that they approve of, which is basically being controlled as well, but we'll say indirectly controlled, that helps to maintain the order, they don't really challenge them too much. They say, fine, as long as you're doing it in a way that helps us maintain our control over society, why should we care? We don't even care if that you make us look a little bit bad, as long as we are in charge at the end of the day and there's a bunch of gold-digging sluts that, you know, will sell their soul for us. You know, should we really care? There's millions of attractive gold-digging harpies in America. Why should we care? So what they are telling me is, take down your videos so we can maintain the order of society, even though you are the rightful leader and we're not. None of us deserve to be in charge, but you do. But this is the order. This is our artificial order. So take down your videos so you don't take your rightful place in society and challenge our order. Stop saying you're the top martial artist, because even though other martial artists don't deserve your place, this is our artificial order. This is our illusion. This is our racket. And you're making it difficult for us to continue our racket and for things or business to run smoothly. We're not going to lift a finger to try to prove that you're unworthy, because we know that you'd win. This is how they're coming at me. They may as well be saying it like that. And they're using stupid little mind tricks. You know, these people aren't, they deal in trickery. Masons, they deal in philosophy and science and trickery. They don't deal in truth. When you're a man of God and a man of truth, and you're trying to help people, there's nothing more disgusting. Well, there probably is something more disgusting, but right now I can't think of it, than evil people who do things in a way that the devil approves of, denying you your rightful place, and they don't even have anywhere near a good reason for it. Nowhere near a good reason for it. They just want things to play out in a way that's in their best interest. And some people who are on the bottom of the pyramid, they're playing their position as a gang member or something, you know, making like $40,000 a year in drug money or something, you know, a lowly position. And they are all assertive, all aggressive about maintaining the order because they like their little position and their meager wages. It comes with it. That's how it is. So I'm sure you all can guess why it is stupid and insane for them to continue this madness. You know, it's very delusional of them. They're very self-deluded to think that one day I'm magically going to wake up and say, you know what, I've had enough, or some bitch shit like that. Every day that goes by, you go into the negative range more. Now, what are the odds of this person, you know, of Sir Didymus, we'll say, deciding to stop doing what he's doing? It started off as 0, but as I get older, it's a negative. you know, just for the effect of your understanding. It's like there's no way it's going to happen. And as I get older, it's less than nothing. You know, there's less than no chance that I'm ever going to change my mind. And believe it or not, with all the views I've been getting recently especially, it's eventually going to come out. Mark my words. It is eventually going to come out that I was the top martial artist and that they did all this stuff to hold me down. And all the groups that I named time and time again are going to feel very, very small. They're going to feel very, very stupid. They're going to ask themselves, you know, do we really want to continue in these groups that are such, that have gained infamy for being evil, really, for being against the people, for being selfish? Look what we did to this guy. You know, this guy made the greater effort to change the world than any man in America, and look how we treated him. Women are going to ask themselves, you know, is this feminism really a good idea? It's allowed for us to team up with the New World Order and treat this guy like this. You know? We're going to slowly start snapping out of it. Not because it is the morality of it. It's because it is the social normative nature of shame. Okay? They're not going to wake up from all the abortions or breaking down the family. You know? They're going to play that off. But when it comes to a matter of this guy is a famous hero, and we did him way, way, way the fuck wrong. And he pointed out time and time again. And as he's pointing it out, we just keep doing him wrong. They're going to be forced to the conclusion that yes, when you're a feminist, you have a complex that allows you to turn a blind, it forces you to turn a blind eye to a lot of horrible, horrible things that makes feminism not worth it in the first place. The same goes for all the other spiritual bottom-feeding groups. You know, he was absolutely correct to call us spiritual bottom-feeders because we lacked the spiritual acuity and the moral depth to do the right thing. We had nowhere near any sort of mortal will. We were shunning the most righteous man in the country, the top fucking martial artist for crying out loud. And for what? For whose benefit? By God, for whose benefit? The very people we claim to be against in the first place? The establishment? And their cronies? When the other shoe finally drops, many women will drop that line of thinking. And they will miss the days when man and women had a strong family structure. This is what's in women's best interest, to do the right thing. How could it possibly be in women's best interest to shun the best, the brightest, the wisest, the most righteous, the most insightful? How could that possibly be in women's best interest? Unless you're a bunch of satanic lesbians, you know, then it's in your perceived best interest, but it's not in your actual best interest. What's in women's actual best interest is to find a balance with the opposite sex, a natural balance, not a perceived cry about rights, no, but how it was naturally supposed to be. We are human beings from nature. We did not spring up from this illusion that Babylon pushes. We sprung up from nature. And in nature there is a fucking structure. That's how it works. Next they're going to tell you to breathe poison gas instead of air is in your best interest. No. You are a natural being. Consuming natural things. You know, and all you vegans and all you non-GMO people. How could you not see this? How could you not see this? You want a natural diet, but yet you don't want the natural structure? You hypocrites? How could you not see it? Naturally, a great warrior who's a man of God, a righteous man, no matter how you slice it, should never be shunned in a world with billions of women. That is a disgrace That is a serious error in judgment. And that goes back to the picture I put on the screen. A silly woman versus a wise one. What car the guy drives versus what drives the guy. Anytime you are preaching nonsense and materialism over truth and what is natural, you have betrayed women. Unless you are going for a transhumanist society where you're a bunch of cyborg whores anyway, right? You're a bunch of robots anyway. You need to go for what is right, correct, and spiritual and natural. You need to snap out of your stupid state of denial. I loved women enough to tell them the truth and to fight for them as uncontrolled opposition along with everyone else on the planet. Their most beloved family members, their children. I fought for them and their children and everyone else on the planet. But you people only fight for social acceptance, conformity, cowardice, shallowness, selfishness, materialism, evilness, and lies. Then you turn around and say you are the saviors of women, the liberators, the helpers. That you're doing what's in their best interest. Either you are too stupid to see what's in their best interest in the first place and you need to sit down and shut up. Or you're an evil scoundrel who is plotting in a very despicable, unforgivable manner, and you need to be executed for crimes against humanity. My question to you is, which one is it?